This week we had Robert Redford and Meryl Streep in Out of Africa. Thank you for joining me for another movie. We are continuing to work through the 501 must-see movies. This is another romance movie, so we've got two romances this week. When Harry Met Sally, the video I released on Tuesday, and this week is Out of Africa. I will warn you, if you have not seen this movie, it is 2 hours and 40 minutes, so you do need to commit a little bit of time. But it's a beautiful story. Once I found out it was about a real person, this real woman in this real story, it was even more interesting. She's an amazing woman. I'm going to go over information about the movie and information about her as a person through this video. If you are feeling my vibe and still enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel. You can like this video at the end if you do like it. And I'll just get right into the chat. I mean, wow, Meryl Streep is just an amazing actress. And I think this is the first time I've seen Robert Redford in a movie. He did an amazing job as well. And this movie won 7 Oscars. So it won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Score, Best Cinematography. Was that 7? It won a lot of Oscars. Meryl Streep was nominated for Best Actress, but did not win. But we all know she's won several other ones, so that's okay. I don't really have to read from the book. The book just talks about how amazing of a movie it is. It's wonderful. It's set in Africa. It's filmed in Africa. Aside from the start when they have a really fake green screen, which was probably as realistic as it gets from the time of the movie. It's from 1985. The rest of the movie is filmed in Africa, and the scenery is just beautiful. You think Meryl Streep is an amazing woman. This Karen Blixen is an amazing woman. So the story itself is about Karen getting married. It's a marriage of convenience to a baron, and they move to Africa. She thinks she's going to run a dairy farm, but he decides to make it a coffee farm without consulting her. And then immediately after they plant the coffee, just takes off on safari, leaves her to run this coffee farm, even though she came to run a dairy farm. It's kind of a really funny, it's funny when you think about it, why did you do that? That was so weird. She runs this farm basically on her own because her husband, as I said, just takes off. And then once he comes back, gives her syphilis, and then she kicks him out. So basically she's on her own. She has this tribe of Africans living on her property, hires someone to teach the kids how to read. She hires the tribesmen to work in the fields for her. So this is a really impressive woman. You can see through the movie, this story is a real story. It is romanticized for Hollywood, but she did run the whole coffee plantation by herself. She helped out this tribe. She had this love affair. She went on safari. She killed lions. She was an amazing woman and super strong. Even in the divorce scene where her husband asks her for a divorce because he wants to marry someone else with money. She's so classy in it. Just the way she presents herself. Very inspiring. Really a good role model. Way better than Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's. World War I and World War II, she did 2 amazing things. Bringing those supplies to the colonial army in World War I, and then smuggling Jews out of German-occupied Denmark in World War II. Amazing things. She wrote several books. Out of Africa, the movie, is based on one of the books that she wrote. She was even nominated for 2 Pulitzer Prizes. There are 2 museums dedicated to her. The first museum is in her family home in Denmark, where she lived the rest of her life. So it was turned into an art society, and now it has been converted into a museum for Karen. And the farmhouse that she owned in Kenya has also been converted into a museum for her as well. And there's a subdivision that is now built all around the lands that were her farmlands, and the subdivision is called Karen. So she obviously had a huge impact in both Denmark and in Kenya, because both governments and both people really remember her. She was featured on Denmark Money. She was featured on the Denmark stamp. This is an impressive one, especially for the time, the early 1900s. she seemed to do a lot. She seemed to really like have her shit together. So Robert Redford plays Meryl Streep's love affair. His name is Dennis. He's a big game hunter. There are shots of Robert Redford getting on and off a horse without assistance. I don't know if this is camera trickery, but it is super, super impressive because I can barely get on a horse with a ladder or a step stool. So he just like puts his foot up there, gets himself on the horse. They don't even show Meryl Streep doing that. They show her on the horse and off the horse. They don't show her getting on the horse. And I notice in a lot of movies they don't show people getting on or getting off horses fully. Robert Redford did it. Super sexy. Another thing that's really sexy is the gifts that Dennis gives to Karen. It's obviously his love language is gift giving, if you know love languages, and the gifts he gives her are super meaningful, super sweet, super helpful. Another thing that I did notice is how much time they spent together before they actually entered into a physical relationship. Like, they really were companions. They were close friends. They enjoyed each other's company. They're kind of on safari together, and he washes her hair by the river. Super sexy. The only thing I will note is anyone with long hair knows that the amount of water he used was not enough. There was definitely soap still in her hair. That's my little tidbit. But other than that, it was a very sweet scene. It was very romantic, and Meryl Streep's makeup in that scene is on point. She has this beautiful pink eyeshadow on. Her face is just, I think it's the prettiest she looks in the whole movie. Another thing that Robert Redford does that is super sexy and romantic is he gets up every time she leaves the table, which I know was just a thing that they did back then, but guys don't do that anymore. And it was like, when you saw it and noticed it and see it in practice, it's really a romantic, respectful thing. So I'm calling it here. We should bring it back. Next week, we're going to circle back and do a couple of comedies. And then who knows what the future holds.